everyone. This is the first of a 4-part series on assembling, painting Warhammer 40,000 Intercessor Squad, Assault Intercessor Squad, Space Marines. We'll be using Micromark tools and supplies to create this group. We will be going over the process of building, painting, assembling, and creating a base for gameplay that's realistic looking as we can get it. So let's get started. Alright, first we gotta take the parts off the tree, and I'm using a Fujiya sprue cutter. It's definitely a nice soft bite. A little finishing work, assembling some of the primary pieces. We're using our black acrylic primer to darken these guys up. I like to start with black and work my way up. That way, catch some shadows in the undercarriage and different crevices. We're using the gray acrylic primer, but I'm adding a little water to make it a little translucent so the darker comes through. Now this will give a nice subtle look of steel before I add the blue. Now that the arms and torso are done, we're going to use a flat blue and a sky blue, do a little mix as a base over that. Layers are everything. To make it look lifelike, find a good range of colors helps the eye see it a little bit more pleasingly. Now this is the first time I'm building one of these characters, so I'm using reference as a handbook or a recruit guide that kind of shows what they're supposed to look like. Alright, now we're getting a little darker here. A little less sky blue, a little more darker blue. Now we're doing the weapons. We start off with a gray, and then we're going to mix a black with a metallic. Using our regular Microbrush to mix some of the paint. Now we're going into a gold. I mixed the ochre with some shiny gold. Alright, now we're doing the pouches. Mix a little brown with black. Now we're adding another coat of the blue just to brighten it up. I want to darken up the pouches a little more, so I added a little bit more black on this coat. Metallic portion of the chainsaw came out real nice. Add a little to the muzzle. Now I'm washing a little bit of the aluminum into the gun to make it a little more metallic looking. Red for the eyes. Now the base plate. Gray primer on that. Now the decals. Decals are always fun. is our application station. Put a little Microscale on the part before we apply the decal, and then we add the decal, put it into place, secure it with some more Microscale. Microscale is great for rounded edges and rivets and things for it to go around. And then after the coat of Microscale, we'll let it dry a little bit, and then we'll add a bit of the micro flat. Hit it with the flat, and that'll give it a nice metallic look. And we'll take the shine off of it. Do a little bit on the jetpack, because the jetpack takes a beating and a lot of heat, I'm sure. We'll add our arms. It's coming along really well. Put his jetpack. That way he can get around a little faster. Add a little Doc O'Brien's weathering powder. A little powder around his feet where he's pounding the ground. Hit him with some dull coat. Leave him be until he's dry. Now that this Space Marine is finished, we're going to move on to build his movable base plate. We took some of our Terra Earth and put it into this rock mold. We're going to add a little gray acrylic here to change the color gray a little bit, because everyone knows no rock is the same color gray. So we got highlights, lowlights. I'm using a wide brush here, getting some coverage. And I'm using a little water and spreading it around a little bit. Making it wet allows it to absorb a little more, so it gives it more of a natural stained look than a painted look. Adding a little white to the primer. I give it some highlights now, a little bit more than the ones we just did. Now, depending on where you are, if there's any iron inside the hills, you know, there's always a little oxidation in the rock because of a little bit of a rust color highlight. Alright, so now I'm making kind of like an organic color. Now, much like the oxidation, there's organisms that grow, algae, moss. So this is kind of going to stain it a little bit in areas to make it look like it has maybe some lichen or some vegetation residue. It'll just be pleasing for the eye. Now this is Gatorfoam. I love using Gatorfoam. It's super light and rigid. It allows me to create bases and walls and things like that. It's a good support mechanism for modeling, whether it's heavy or light. It's basically a very hard cord foam board. So now I'm using the Terra Earth Gray. I'm using this as an adhesive for the rock mold that we just pulled out. We'll set it on there. That's going to take about a day to cure properly to get a nice set. But we're going to move on. And, well, we're going to make sure we get the edges too before we let it dry. And it's going to turn out really nice. Looking good so far. Now we're going to measure for the base. I'm using just one of the stock base plates for the Warhammer as like a stencil, so I want them to be remotely center. Doing about 2 3/4 inch square. We're gonna prop this up. Make a little ledge for it so it sits nicely. Terra Earth for adhesive for the backdrop. And when this hardens, it's just like a rock. So it's really nice for creating earth scenes and textures. I've been using it for a long time. It's going to be for sale on micromark.com, coming soon. It's not quite out yet. So we're going to use Lichen here. This is a light green foliage mix. Using some detail tack. Now this is like a super tacky white glue. Looks like white glue, but it has different properties. It's tacky, and then it dries completely clear and matte. So I take some of the Lichen, stick in some of the grooves, work your way down and up. That's the way plants grow. They grow up toward the sun. Another green now, so we're going to add a little of the Micromark Age It Easy brown, using an eyedropper that we sell as well in large packs. Doing a little more, we're going to add some blended turf. Some static grass. First we'll do the dead static grass, and then we're going to go with a little life in there just to please the eye. We love to please the eye. Clump-Foliage, dark color. Alright, now that we pull the mask, it exposes the area we need to put our base plate. We're going to put the hole in the direct front. This will be interchangeable with some of the other Space Marines. Marking where his footprints are, because we're going to cover this whole thing up. Let's cover it with the blended turf. A little bit more lighter green tuft. We add our ballast cement, which locks everything into place. Alright, now we're going to add some of this Terra Earth to the edge to disguise the Gatorfoam. It'll give it a nice rock texture. We're going to take some Micromark Age It Easy Black, gently dab it in while it's semi-wet. Now that we have this Assault Intercessor Space Marine complete, we will be working on his buddies, 4 more of his class, and then we're going to be working on the Primaris Lieutenant, which is a little larger, and we'll also build the bad guys. So stay tuned with us, and check back in a little bit, and we'll have some more for you. Tools, paints, and supplies in this video can be found at micromark.com. See you next time.